All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Paul Gough Show. This is Coffee with Goughy. We are live around the world. If you've got your coffee in hand, join me. Take a sip of your hot or ice cold latte, if that's what you like to drink. I am a very simple guy. Extra hot latte, 3 sugars, been the same for about 20 years. I've resisted every temptation of all of this cinnamon, whipped cream. What else do you get on coffees these days? What all is
cold foam,
hot foam, medium foam, big foam.
You go get that green stuff.
Got to get the green stuff now, like the whole thing, green tea thing. Yeah. Natalie likes. She goes nuts whenever I get her order wrong. I always do. I always miss something out of the order, and it is usually a chai tea latte, right? So I get the chai tea right, but I always forget the with oat milk. Always wrong. Always forget the oat milk. On the order, but yeah, I'm a very simple guy when it comes to my coffee, and I am in most areas of my life. In all honesty, I like things very, very simple. I like routine in most areas of my life, and I like to not have to waste any energy thinking about what it is that I'm going to be ordering. So anyway, get your coffee. Let's start the show. We're going to be diving into some pretty hot topics today. We're back. It's been a wonderful summer. This is the first live Coffee with Goughy for a few weeks because I take most of the summer off, and I'm happy to share with you that I do that, and I encourage you to do the same. You've got to build this business in such a way that you can spend time with your family. I have been in England, so I'm back in America right now. I've been here for 10 days and did a really cool event last week with our mastermind group. We had 20 members here for the Cash Pay Summit Intensive that took place here in Orlando. Obviously, we had the huge event in LA that took place early in May, and we condensed it to 20 people who couldn't make it, and we ran it here in the Orlando HQ. And if you haven't been yet, you've got to come to Planet Paul HQ. It's a really cool experience, and we'll take care of you with everything from the content and obviously the education that you need to grow your business, but we put you right next to very successful business owners, which is what this whole thing is about. You get to hang out with my staff. We've got a bar here. We've got all the food for your breakfast, everything when you arrive, and it's a really cool experience. So you've got to come and see us and say hello when we run the next event at the Planet Paul headquarters. So I'm in the middle of a summercation. How do we even describe what Paul does? So I left the US end of May when the kids finished school on the Thursday. Hopped over to England, did an event in London at Chelsea, hopped across to a little beautiful place called Portugal, spent 2 weeks completely uninterrupted in Portugal, headed back to my office, went to Blackpool in England for 3 or 4 days for some physio on my hip, but took my kids. It's a seaside town on the west coast of England near Manchester, and it's a place I used to go with my parents. So any opportunity I get, I take my kids back to Blackpool, and they absolutely love it. Traditional, old-fashioned, like kind of quintessential English holiday town that you would go to in the 70s, 80s, and the 90s. It's a bit run down these days, but still a great experience for the kids. And then I hopped on a flight and I came back to the US to run the event for my clients. So we did a big epic webinar yesterday, the AI First PT Clinic webinar. More and more of you are moving towards AI, which is wonderful to see. And what's interesting, just before I get into it, the show today, what's interesting, I revealed yesterday that in the UK there is what I can see to be the first fully functioning AI physio clinic. I'm going to say this again, AI Physio Clinic. It's been backed by the National Health. It's called Flock, F-L-O-C-K, Flock Physio. It's in England. They've just raised about 25 million quid to continue their development work. They're already seeing patients using AI physios. So any of you who have been saying for the last 2 years, AI won't affect physio, like, I love it. Anybody who thinks it's not going to affect them, wow. Like, this is already happening, and this is the National Health in Britain, a multi-billion-dollar organisation, one of the biggest, if you like, companies in the world, hires more people than probably anybody, that serves an entire nation, is now using AI physio to serve its people. Now, whatever your thoughts are on that is completely up to you, and I'm sure it's going to kick off all sorts of fights between all of the clinical nerds and the geeks thinking, is the research good enough, and the outcomes won't be the same, and all that nonsense. And good for them, and they can all go and fight over something else. But the reality is, for us business owners, we face facts. We live in the is world, not the should be world. We live in the is world. It is here. It is happening. And my big, bold prediction, this podcast is being recorded on July the 13th, 2026. at 11:30, I am going to go on record of saying that within 18 months, it will be commonplace in my community that my clinic owners will be talking about AI physio as a service that clients are buying. AI as a service that clients are actively buying. And at the back of events and in seminars, you will have people with booths who are selling subscriptions to AI physio. And it will happen within 12 to 18 months. And it will be music to your ears because it is the democratization of physio, and it will be and could be and should be, as much as your initial visceral reaction will be, I don't like this, it is probably going to be the solution over the next 2 or 3, 5 years to the fact that there are just no PTs available for hire anywhere. So you are going to have to consider this. But before we get there, you should already be doing voice AI as reception. You should already be doing marketing AI. You should already have finance AI. You should already have a clinic brain inside of your business. Use running an AI model inside of your business so that every question, every SOP is being answered and built by AI, so that you're just building a level of intelligence about your business that means you are not the bottleneck inside of it anymore. AI has moved on. It was about voice in 2024. Hear me when I say this. It was voice in 2024. 2025, it became about marketing and content, and in 2026, it's now about finance, AI, and essentially having an operating system. All of these EMRs are coming out with a voice AI, and by the way, most of them are utterly dreadful, cheap and dreadful and awful. They sound like R2-D2 on helium, most of them. They've got gaps in the conversation wider than the Grand Canyon. They really are bad, very, very bad. But they're all just catching up to it now in 2026, which is typical of these big dumb companies. Because really now what's happening is the smart businesses, the intelligent businesses, the most profitable businesses are now using AI as an operating layer, not just one area to answer the phone. That's kind of like it's 2 years out of date already. So we're already at that point where your business could be run by an AI operating system, right? That's here for you already. So just get with the times, move. You've got to get in this lane. And I say this so many times. This profession is so bad at moving. It's so slow. It's its own worst enemy. Everybody wants to blame the APTA. They want to blame the government. They want to blame insurance companies, but they need to look at themselves in the mirror and say, we actually don't act fast enough when technology and advancements and marketing capability comes along for us to run more profitable business. The old model's been dead for 20 years, right? It's been dying for 20 years, and it's over. The new model is here. The AI first model has been here for now 18 months to 24 months, and is why you're seeing clinics running on 25-30% margins, where clinic owners are paying themselves $200,000 in salary and then taking 25 to 30% profit, not the measly 5 to 8% that the industry has accepted, with a business owner barely making $65,000 for the last however many decades. So move with the times, or you are already behind. So that was what happened last week, and we're very aggressively, ferociously encouraging all of our clients towards the new way to build a more profitable business, putting wellness into the business and concierge. And then today, this is my last little Ferrari, if you like, or moments in the office. After this podcast, I'm heading back to Orlando Airport. I'm going back to England, and then I'm off to London on Thursday and Friday with Natalie for 2 days just to chill. We love to go into the city and just relax and walk and have fun and just find nice restaurants. I go back to Blackpool on Monday for a little bit more physio to see Jamie on my hip. And then I fly to Portugal next Wednesday for another 10 days with the kids before coming back to America. Mobile, you need to be moving. Build a business in such a way that you can move. Don't be important, be responsible. Important really means that you are grounded and stuck inside of that business, and that's where most physios go wrong. They focus on being important and everything going through them. I want as little as possible to do with anything in this company, in any company that I run, but I'm happy to be responsible for the consequences of that company, and that's what I ultimately get paid for. And if there is movement in my life or freedom in my life, it's because I accepted the responsibility of building teams, building businesses, setting it up in such a way that I didn't have to be involved all day, every day, and being okay with dealing with the consequences of building a business. So that's a quick update on Paul's life for the last few weeks. Somewhere in between that, there's 5 kids and Natalie and all sorts of stuff going on as well around us, which is great. It's been great to be back in Florida and certainly to be in America across the 250-year celebration of independence from England. I should have had my English flag at this point. You all left us because of 2% taxes that we levied on you 250 years ago. I wonder what the Californians think of that now. I wonder if they want to go back to English rule, given that you're now paying probably, 67% tax in California with them nuggets running those states over there. Anyway, another podcast for another day, that one. What we got today, Producer Jay? What's going on? Oh, did I mention England is still in the World Cup?
Yeah, they are.
No questions today from Argentina. None. Zero, zip, nada. The Norwegians, they're rowing home. You like that one? They're not going home, they're rowing home. You're rowing home, you're rowing home. That's what we were singing to them. They've all been doing their row across America for the last 4 weeks. Well, they're all fucking rowing home now, aren't they? There they go. Haaland is rowing home with tears in his eyes. Who else has gone? The Mexicans. Yeah, all the Mexicans in this office have kept their heads down for a few weeks. They're all now literally avoiding the conversation about soccer. Up until a couple of weeks ago, the Colombians want nothing to do with soccer anymore. I've noticed there's no jerseys on. You're all out, gone. And is there any RGs in this office? No. Nobody with secret roots from Argentina? No. So no questions from Argentina, please, today. England are in the World Cup semi-final on Wednesday. I'll be back in England for that, and hopefully for the final next Sunday, which I predict could be against Spain. I just have a hunch that Spain will beat France. I don't know why. I think it could be an England-Spanish final next Sunday. There you go. Anyway, right, what's the questions today?
All right, we got Derek Jones, Boise, Idaho. America just celebrated 250 years of freedom. After 11 years of owning my clinic, I've never felt less free.
Wow. So America just spent 250 years celebrating freedom. After 11 years... Oh, here we go. Here's the anthem. Do I need to stand? No, you should be standing. You should be standing.
I am. Y'all don't know that I'm standing, but I am.
Come on. Take your hat off. Hand on heart, please. Come on. Have we got the British one? Because you celebrated.
I need to get the British.
You celebrated independence from the British anthem, from Britain's rule. Well, first of all, happy birthday to America. I am deeply indebted to America for my family's life and lifestyle and the opportunities that have been made possible for me and for my family because of living in America. This is still the land of opportunity. You need to let me back up. I live between both countries, so I spend 9 months of the year in America and I spend kind of 3 months back in England and Europe, and I see, from afar, almost an unemotional view of some of the things that go on in America and get said about America, and sometimes the negativity even from Americans about America, and I shake my head in disbelief, in all honesty, when I see it. And nothing baffles me more when I see these sports stars, the kind of Olympians or the footballers or the basketball players, netball, whatever, and they come out and they slag their country off and they criticize their country, and you think, God, there is a reason so many people want to be here, and there's a reason that people are flocking to cross the border and risk their lives to be here because it's such a wonderful country, and always has been. And the number of people inspired by the United States and its success, if you think what you've achieved in 250 years, it's nothing short of sensational. It's wonderful what has been achieved here, and I'm very grateful and thankful that I get to be here. I made it my mission to come and be here and raise a family here, and I had to be successful enough to be able to be allowed in and qualify for a visa and grow the business and all of those types of things. And I couldn't thank America enough for what it's done for me and for my family, and ultimately for the opportunities that it's given to me. And if you are in any doubt, I always say this to my staff, if you are in any doubt about America and kind of living here and what it stands for, and if it's a cool place, put your passport on eBay tonight and see what the bids start at. If you're not happy with living in America, put your passport on eBay tonight and just see what you get for it. You will be a multi-millionaire. America is still the absolute land of opportunity if you can be bothered to get your ass off the couch or the sofa, away from scrolling on TikTok and the internet and the news cycle that is endless here, that wants to suck you into doom loops. But this is still the greatest country to be in for anybody that has any aspiration. And if you are inspirable, this is the place to be inspired. And I think that's a lot of people's problems. There's so much opportunity here in the United States, and there is in England to a degree. If you are inspirable, this is the place to be. And if you have a great work ethic, this is the place to be. And if you just course correct a little bit with your kind of, your old school thinking and your school smarts of the rules and things like that you were told early on in your life that would be helpful for you to be successful, if you can just get rid of most of that shit from your first 20 years of your life and just go for it here and commit, don't necessarily even have to decide exactly what you want to do or be, just commit to it and build that commitment habit. Invest in commercial skills and sales and marketing and building businesses and entrepreneurial skills. This is the country to be in, and I'm very, very grateful to be here anyway. So happy birthday to America. So back to, what was this guy's name, Dave?
This guy was it was Derek.
Derek is not as free as America, right? He's in the land of the free, but he's not free. Is that what he's kind of hinting at?
Yeah.
Now, Derek,
11 years in.
He's 11 years in of building a business, but he's not free. And I suspect he went into business thinking that he was going to be free, because isn't that what we all do? We go into business for freedoms. We work for somebody or we work for an organization and we think, God, this is not cool, and I can do my own thing, and I can do this better, and I can do this customer service better, and I can be a better PT, and I can run my own business, and I can impact people, and I can be free. And as 95% of the business population find out, that's kind of not how it works, right? So to answer this, we need to first acknowledge that there's two types of freedoms. There is a financial freedom in life, and then there is an emotional freedom in life. And the assumption is that if I get financial freedom, then I will be free. And I get 2 million in the bank or 3 million in the bank, and I'm going to be free. And many people find out that even with that level of money, that is enough to live a terrific life, that they are not free. And that's because they've never considered the emotional aspect of freedom. The biggest challenge that I see for business owners is what keeps them unfree isn't necessarily their business. It's that they bring to their business an identity of themselves as the type of person who has to behave a certain way. So they dress a certain way, they talk a certain way, they arrive a certain way, they arrive early, they stay late. They just do everything that they think has to be done by somebody who is a good, upstanding member of the community. They raise their kids a certain way, in the same way that everybody else raises their kids. They put their kids to bed at the same time as everybody else, because that's what good mums and dads do. They feed their kids the same thing as everybody else, and they dress their kids the same as everybody else, and they look the same as everybody else, and they're basically all keeping up with each other, and nobody actually sits down and says, who the hell made all of these rules in the first place? And I think that's the biggest challenge for most people. Why not even just business owners don't report being free. Most people don't report being free, despite living in the Western world. You live in the freest country, other than your taxes, right? Everything else is your choice, is it not? I'm yet to figure out, right? Like, other than taxes, what else am I obligated to have to do? Right? There's obviously laws which I need to stick to, which I'm kind of in favor of, right? Because we need a little bit of that. But rules and laws are very different. And I think for most people, they're creating their own rules around life, and they've got that many of them, that's the prison that they've actually created. It's not the government. It's not a president. It's not their taxes. Most people, and I'll give it to you how this affects you. If you don't figure out the emotional side of it first, it affects the financial side. And I've said from day one, if you are around emotional people who make emotional decisions, you will never be rich, ever. And I'll go on record of saying that, because somebody like me would come along and say, hey, you need to raise prices, and you won't raise prices because that's not how somebody like you behaves, because you're a good, upstanding member of the community, right? You've got this perfect, ideal image of yourself, of somebody who is just loved by everybody, liked by everybody, trying to help everybody. And all of that is brilliant and well done if that's the view you have of yourself. But that's also the reason that you are not free, because you need to make some big decisions that are going to piss people off, and you won't do it. And you've created the rule that says you have to get up at a certain time and that you have to dress a certain way, even though you might not like dressing the way that you dress to go to work. And you've created the rule that says our kids go to bed at 6:30, even though you don't get in from work till 5:15. So you literally have 5 minutes with your children. But you created that rule. And I don't care what anyone says. I've got 5 kids. Like, these are the rules that people are creating for themselves that, in my humble opinion, are making them feel as though they are not free. they have decided that if they get caught in the McDonald's drive-through, they're not good parents because some parent that they're in a group with said that McDonald's is awful and vile and the food is horrendous and no good parent would ever feed their kids a McDonald's. Well, I've got news for you. I'm very comfortable taking my children to McDonald's because I couldn't give a flying fuck about one night of a McDonald's and a chicken nuggets Happy Meal. It's going to have zero discernible difference on the quality of their life. If anything, the problem that you have, when you put so many rules in people's lives, you are guaranteed to fuck it up. You are absolutely guaranteed to fuck it up, right? If I give you a little bit of rope, there's a significant chance that because you've got rope, you can breathe and you can think and you can actually start to discern for yourself about how life is going to work, that you're going to enjoy it more and you'll report feeling free, right? And that's one of the things that I've always wanted for my children. As I've raised a family with Natalie, we've always wanted them to be free, to feel free. Right? They'll get to decide their own bedtimes. They'll get to decide food. Yes, we jump in, of course we do, right? If it's getting out of hand. But within reason, the kids are free to wear what they want, to say what they want. Do they swear? Occasionally. But they're told not to swear in front of grandma or other children at their school or their teachers. So they know not to use that type of language. And they can use it occasionally if they're a little bit frustrated or they're having a little bit of a play fight with each other. Who cares, right? It doesn't mean anything. Like, gives a shit. It's not going to have any discernible difference. And in fact, what I learned was when we actually allowed one or two of them to swear, they got it out of their system within about 6 weeks. Right, it was just done. Like, it was over. It was like they don't do it anymore, right? And if they do, it's just this occasional kind of thing that they'll say, and they'll do it on purpose to get a little bit of a giggle, and it's appropriate and it's fun, and everybody laughs, and that's it, and they're off, right? And there's nothing to worry about, right? So, like, we let them get that thing out of their system. And the McDonald's thing, it's like whatever. The thrill of taking my children through a drive-through to let them decide if they want a McFlurry or they want a supersized whatever, like the joy in their face. Right, there's joy in there. We take them to Disney once a week, and the most fun thing is when they go to the McDonald's drive-thru on the way home. It lights the little shits up. Now, I'm not taking any of this away. Could you imagine sitting in the car fighting with kids? You're not going to McDonald's. It's bad for you. Oh, fuck off. You're not saying that. It's bad for you. You're not dressed like that. It's bad for you. You're not doing that. It's bad for you. Meanwhile, kids are allowed to fucking ride e-bikes and have mobile phones at 9-year-old and, smash into people and kill people. And, like, you're allowed that. But somehow McDonald's is bad, so that makes me a bad parent. So where I'm getting at is nobody really questions where any of these rules come from. Right? The 6:30 rule for bed, like, where did that come from? A woman looks at another woman who's raising children and says, what time do you put your kids to bed? And she says 6:30 or 7, whatever. And then she decides, well, that must be a good time to put them to bed. There's no thought goes into whether or not that's right for that family. Does that suit what time the father works or comes home? Does it suit the children? Does it force them to miss out on things that they could be having fun with, learning a little bit of resilience, building some stamina, building some energy in spite of the fact that they might be a little bit tired after school? I don't know. I'm not sat here claiming to be the most perfect parent, but what I am sat here doing regularly, and it seems like more and more every day, is trying to banish the bullshit that most people live with all day, every day, because it clearly isn't fucking working. Because Derek is one of millions and millions of people who are reporting feeling unfree in a country where you are free. Period, right? Other than your taxes. You are free, other than taxes, to do whatever the hell you want, except violence or crime or whatever, right? Which is fine. That's not even for debate. That you just got to accept that. But everything else, you decide what time you go to bed. You decide if you want your kids to go to school. You decide what time you get up. You decide what you'll do in the morning. You'll decide if you'll start at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. I came in late today. I was up playing tennis with the boys this morning. We stayed a little bit longer. I pushed it back a little bit for me to come back into work. Now, I could have been going, boys, I need to be at work at this time and we can't play tennis, right? And some days I need to go to the office and we can't play tennis because I've got a meeting scheduled. But I'm using a little bit of discernment to say, actually, can I push that back half an hour? Yeah, like, I'm going to get one summer with these kids in 2026. I'm going to have some fun. Fuck it, right? I'll deal with the consequences if I'm half an hour late, or I'll catch up somewhere else. I'm on a flight tonight. Whatever I was going to do this morning, I'll do on a plane tonight, and instead of falling asleep, I'll get my work done. There's so many ways that I can move around the board to feel free. And as long as I stay contained, not controlled, because I don't want to be controlled, I have to stay in a container, right? I have to stay somewhere within a container of reasonable, but not to the nth degree, which is where I think most people are falling foul of. And I've raised this recently that you find that a lot of people want rules in their life because they don't have to think. And that's when you see somebody who wants rules, it means they don't have to think. And they end up with that many rules that they've completely imprisoned themselves, and they've completely stopped thinking, and their life isn't their own anymore. And then all of a sudden they're quite pissed. But it's them that's created the rules. The joke I always tell is the 5 o'clock club. This, Robin Sharma, who I love to bits, his books are amazing. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari was transformational in my life when I read that book of what it meant to be happy. But the 5 o'clock club has got everybody walking around thinking that I've got to get up at 5 o'clock in order to be successful. Now, that's just bullshit. Completely and utterly bullshit that I have to. But it's another rule. Robin said I need to get up at 5 o'clock, so I get up at 5. Well, then what happens to Paul if he gets up at 5 o'clock every single morning? Well, he doesn't do much the night before, so he becomes a little bit of a boring ass individual. And his friends start asking him, does he want to go out for a few beers or watch the basketball or watch the football? And he keeps saying no because he's got to get up at 5 o'clock. And he's going to be a miserable fucker. But he created the rule. But here's what happens. He tells everybody that he gets up at 5 o'clock. And people will say, that's amazing. I wish I could get up at 5 o'clock. So Paul then starts to think that he's a cool guy and a really amazing person because he gets up at 5. So he's attached a label and an identity of himself as somebody who gets up at 5 o'clock. And that's a really good thing. But what he doesn't realise is over the years, it's come at the consequence of having no fun in his life because he can't go anywhere because he has to get up at 5 o'clock to go to the gym or go for his walk or whatever. Now, every now and again, just get up at 6. In fact, if that was me, I would be on purpose not getting up at 5 o'clock every morning because routine and habits are the death of thinking. They are the death of thinking. Like the minute you get into any routine, you should be questioning it regularly. Does it still work for me? Because for most people, that the routines that they've created, and I preface the kids one, and I preface the 5 o'clock club, and I preface that you can't go to McDonald's, and I preface you can't do this, and you have to do this, and you must do this, and you must do this. You've created all of these things, every single one of them. And the reason you've created them is nearly always 99% because of an identity. So if I get up at 5 o'clock, my identity has been strengthened because somebody's told me I'm an amazing guy because I can get up at 5 and the rest of the world can't. But is it serving you well? And if I put my kids to bed at 6:30, it's because probably some mother or father said, wow, that's amazing. I wish we would put our kids to bed early. That's probably the reason that they're not doing well at school. Let's get them to bed earlier. And that's bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. But because I've identified with myself and being told that I'm a great parent because I put my kids to bed early and they're really disciplined and they're all up and they all make their bed at 5 o'clock in the morning, I've started to attach an identity of myself as being a perfect parent because of those rules. Yet those rules are now getting in the way of me feeling free because I have to keep up with the rules because that's the identity that I've got. And so the more rules that you put in your life, because of the identity that you've got, the stronger that identity gets, the more that you stick to it. But for most people, the identity doesn't serve them well. And I'll tell you now, the biggest one for most of you listening to this is you've got this identity of yourself as this perfect human being, trying so hard to be nice to everybody, perfect in front of society, and the way that you are, and the way you talk, and the way you have to behave, and the way you just, it's almost death by 1,000 cuts. And some of you really need to take a sledgehammer to these rules. Genuinely do. And for some of you, you need to take a sledgehammer to fucking all of the obligations in your life. And some of you need to find a few people that just piss you off that you're living up to and for, and just fucking get rid of them. Throw them off the bus of your life, figuratively. Not literally, but figuratively. You've got too many people in your life that you're trying to appease and you're trying to please. And that's the reason that you report not being free. And here's how it affects you as a business owner. All of your creativity and all of your energy and all of your love of life is sucked from you because of all of these rules and all of this identity shit that you've built. And so when you come into a business at 8 o'clock in the morning and you need to be creative, and you need to be fun, and you need to come up with big ideas, and you need some swagger because you need to sell things, and you need to go and do a workshop, and you need to go and hire somebody, you need to go and fire somebody, because this is what business owners do, you've got no fucking energy left for the thing. Because your identity, you're more bothered about what people think about you. This perfect citizen in society, raising perfect children in society with perfect bedtime routines, who never go to McDonald's, who never have any fun, who never go anywhere, and have to be home by 6 o'clock, otherwise the whole week's going to end. Get the fuck. Here's what I know, right? Again, 5 kids. And take this however you want. This will piss people off. 5 kids in my house, right? So how many children come around our house, do you think, on a daily or weekly basis? There's never a week where some kid doesn't get dropped off at our house. There's a direct correlation between the kids that I love the most, who we have the most fun with, whose parents walk in and go, there's our child, tell me when you want him to leave. Just get in touch when you want him to leave, or just send him home, right? Just send him home. And do you know who the most miserable kids are who come around the house? The ones whose parents go, it's 5 o'clock, I will pick him up at 6. I'm like, let him have some fucking fun. You haven't even walked through the door and you've told him what time the fun fucking ends. No wonder the kid's fucking going nuts, right? And he's miserable as shit, because that's probably how his life is for the fucking rest of his life. There's no freedom anywhere to play, to have fun, to express, to be, to go on for a little bit longer than the rules suggested. The parents are dropping them off and going, I'll pick him up at 6. And then at 5:50, they'll text Natalie and go, I'm on my way. Like the fucking FBI coming around the house to pick him up, bang on the fucking dot as though the plane's taking off. And yet the most fun kids who come into the house, their parents drop them off and go, here, text me when you're sick of him. Literally, text me when you're sick of him. And I laugh and I'm like, that parent's got it. Nailed. Sussed. No rule needed. None. When the fun's over, come home. More important than school, more important than the fucking homework, more important than some shitty bedtime routine that's probably keeping everybody stuck. This is why everybody, if you're reporting feeling unfree, it's because of things like this. And they're so unconscious, these decisions that people make. And most of the world are unconscious. And partly what I try to do on this podcast is wake people up to these stupid fucking things that you're doing all day long that are not contributing to your happiness. And then where we take it back to the business is you've got no flair left. You've got no energy left. You've got no fight left in you. You've given up on it all because you created a prison for yourself, and that sucked any ounce of chance of you being successful in business. Because the news flash for every one of you watching on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, wherever you fucking are watching this shit, you need some energy to build a business, and you need some freedom, and you need flair, and you need some flexibility, and you need to be creative, and you need some energy for a fight. You need to fight with staff, and you need to fight with clients, and you need to raise the prices, and you need to hire, and you need to fire, and you need to commit to building systems and seeing them through and kicking people's asses and not being happy or satisfied if the job isn't done. But most people haven't got the fight for that because they put all of their fight into stupid fucking rules that don't make any difference to anybody. None. Zero. And then comes the next bit. Now I'm feeling a little bit disillusioned with life. So what do I do when I feel disillusioned? I go buy shit. I go out on the marketplace and I buy shit. And I go online and I buy clothes or cars or a watch or I order something for the house that I didn't need because it made me feel better for a few moments. So now I've got a shitty business, a load of rules, and no fucking money because I'm spending money on shit that I don't need. This is life. This is life for 90 fucking however many % of people. And it starts with all of the rules that you've been told of how you should live. And that's an identity that you've got of yourself that you think that you need to keep up. And I'm telling every single person listening to this podcast in just a desperate attempt to wake you, this is getting in the way of you building a business. Because you won't make the decision to hire. You won't make the decision to fire. You won't make the decision. It's a good job the liver or the fucking kidneys tell you that you need to go for a pee because you probably couldn't make the fucking decision to go for a pee, some people listening to this. Like the body does a really good job of keeping your heart and lungs fucking moving for you autonomously because most people couldn't decide if they want to breathe, in all honesty. They're that bad at making decisions. There's no fucking energy for it. And yet somehow they want to build a successful business. It's laughable. I had 20 people in the room last week. 9 guests, 9 brand new people in the Planet Paul community. I can tell you within a minute of the first conversation of how well that business is going to do. Within a minute, based upon their energy, their smile, their love, their enthusiasm for life, or whether they're just head down and, oh no, don't look at me and don't talk to me, Paul, and I might have to make a decision, Paul. Well, that shit's going on in your office. And yet you're trying to lead a team. Like, this life is nothing if it's not predictable. It's absolute clockwork. Your business is predictable. I know exactly what problems you've got if you're at $300,000 a year in revenue. I know exactly what problems you've got if you're at 1 million. You just keep thinking that somehow your problems are different, that your shit doesn't smell. Like, but this is different. You don't realize, Paul, like, my little town is different, and my parent issue is different, and you don't realize my kids are different, Paul, and you don't realize, Paul. I'm like, well, I might not realize. It doesn't make any fucking difference. You've still got a shit business. So what do you want to do? Do you want to feel sorry for yourself for the next 10 years, 20 years, and 30 years? And we'll all stick to but my town is different, Paul. My kids are different, Paul. I'm different, Paul. My parents' upbringing was different, Paul. All of that's true. In every single one of us, the town is different. We're all different. Our parents are different. But we need to figure out how to be successful in spite of that. And again, I'm going to go on record of saying every single one of you listening to this podcast, you think that this business is the reason that you're not free. And it isn't. You've took all the stupid fucking rules that you've got in your life into the business. We can't upset anybody. We can't possibly upset anybody. We have to be a model citizen. We can't irritate anybody because that's just not cool anymore, because we might end up on Facebook with a bad review. We might end up with one on Glassdoor. Who gives a fuck? If you haven't got a few bad Glassdoor reviews, you ain't fucking building a business. And if you haven't got a few bad reviews, you haven't told enough wrong customers to go fuck themselves. And that's required in business. It absolutely is required, because if you don't, these inmates start coming in to run your asylum. These clients start coming in telling you that they're not happy with this. And it's the same reason that some of you won't do voice AI. I daren't do voice AI in case I get one complaint out of 600 clients who goes, I don't care for AI. I just don't like the fact that you try to actually build a profitable business and have more money for your family. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that you wanted to respond to me faster than anybody else. I just don't like AI, and you're a bad human being. And the stupid thing is, you actually listen to these fucking idiots. And you've probably got them in your office, sat there today telling you how to build your business. This is wrong. Oh, it's going to affect the earth. However will the earth be in 300 years? What about the whales, Paul, in the great ocean? AI will be affecting the whales if we're not careful. I am not using AI to get more content out the door because the whales are going to be affected by you using AI. What a complete and utter crock of shit. It is another human being with moral fucking obligations pushing them on you, trying to live a perfect fucking life and achieving absolutely nothing. And those people are in your life and you aren't strong enough to get rid of them. They're in your fucking team, they're in your family, they're in your friend group, they're all over your Facebook, and you should be deleting the fucking lot of them. But you won't, because that's not what your identity is. It's the perfect parent, the perfect friend, the perfect brother, the perfect son, the perfect father, the perfect business owner, even though your business is shit, the perfect everything. And you wonder why you're not free. But it's Trump's fault, isn't it? It's all Trump's fault. Should we, let's blame Trump, right? Or Biden, or whoever the fucking president is at the time. I keep going back to that because that's the stupid shit that people do. My life is shit, let's blame a president. My life is shit, let's blame this person. And yet we live in the freest fucking country. We've got the internet where we can reach a customer in Timbuktu if we wanted to. We can set systems up and automation to reach anyone at any time while you sleep. You can make money literally while you are snoring your sweet, beautiful fucking head off in bed. But somehow it's the president's fault that I'm not making any money. We can do anything we want. We've got this thing on the phone that connects us to the internet with any educational app that we can ever think to have. We can do and learn anything essentially by staring at our hands now. And in 2026, anybody can get access to this shit. But what do I choose to do? 4 hours on TikTok. What do I choose to do? 16 hours on YouTube staring at cats doing donuts in fucking car parks. Right, and whatever other creative things that are going on. And people wonder why their lives are shit. It is nothing to do with a lack of opportunity. It's nothing to do with the government. It's nothing to do with the president. The whole thing is cyclic. Every 10 years it fucking corrects and reverses itself. It's got really nothing to do with whoever's in charge. It's all to do with consumers and economy and media are more likely to sway an economy than any president in any Western fucking country ever. But it's still their fault. Well, it isn't. Like, it's yours. You're choosing to use your time to look at fucking cats stuck up a tree on TikTok. You're choosing to care more about what people think about you, who don't think about you, than actually go, fuck it, this is how I want to live my life. This is how I want to dress. This is what I'm willing to do. And if I want to swear, I'll fucking swear. And if you don't like the fact I swear, fuck off, right? It's as simple as that. Because the people who don't mind, they don't care. They couldn't give a shit. And if you've got these moral obligation, fucking high moral virtue fuckers in your life, toss them off the fucking bridge as fast as you can, because they're probably the ones who are making you feel unfree. There you go. So America's free, and you can be fucking free. If you want to be free right now, take a list up of all of the moral obligations that you're attached to, all of the identities that you're attached to, and then just go and ask yourself, does this still work for me? Because the reality is, it might have worked 5 years ago, 10 years ago, all of that shit. You might have needed a good habit to start getting up early and be productive. But if right now you've got a couple of kids and you've got no social life because it's about getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I wonder if it's a good idea to just push that rising time back an hour. And go out and have a beer and let your fucking hair down and go for a drink with your friend and do this thing called laugh, right? Laugh, have fun, have 2 beers and laugh and let your fucking hair down. Have a glass of wine, enjoy, gossip, play, whatever. Go do something that just fucking stops you being a dull individual because of the rules that you've built. And I say it again, and I'll wrap it up. That's what I watch when people are trying to build businesses. They're bringing all the rules of their life into business, and then they're applying all of these stupid rules. I've got to kiss a doctor's ass. I've got to kiss the dragon on the front desk's ass with cookies. And I've got to talk this way, and I've got to dress this way, and they've all got to call me a doctor. Even that, who gives a shit? Doctor. I wouldn't dream. I'm Paul. I'm Paul, right? I'm Paul. I just happen to know a shitload more about back pain than you do, Mr. Patient. No, doctor not needed. I'm just Paul, a really cool, fun guy. No need for any of the fucking formalities. How can I help you? Just take it all off the table. Even that's fucking nonsense in my humble opinion. It's Paul. Like, I don't need to be any... Call me Goughy if you want. I couldn't give a shit. I don't need you to approach me or address me in any way, because for the one person who doesn't call me doctor, that might piss me off. And I can guarantee you that there are people listening to this who demand that their patients, that their front desk calls them Dr. Paul. I'd get you an appointment with Dr. Paul. And the minute the receptionist forgets to call him Dr. Paul, there's a, you need to call me Dr. Paul. And like, of all of the fucking fights I need to have in this world, that isn't one of them. Just because I've got a doctor in front of me, that's not how I build authority. If it was, every doctor in America would be seriously lauded. They're not. And they're not, by the way. Very few are. Because they think that that false fucking authority is going to make them rich. Because that's what somebody told them. And you build authority by being in the newspapers, by being on telly, by being on the radio, by writing book after book after book, by putting a podcast out day after day after day. And you learn that in the end you get that much confidence from what you're doing and the authority that you've built. You're actually a really comfortable human being, and you go, no need for the doctor. No, not needed. Call me Paul. And that's your home then. You're safe. You're secure now. You've reached such a level of confidence and belief in yourself that you don't care what anybody calls you. Call me whatever you want. I'm still fucking good at what I do, whether you call me doctor or not. I couldn't give a shit whether you see me. If I have to wear or dress or look or have a name, title against, you're not free. You're not free. And that's where people, I believe, are going wrong. So many rules, so much false identity that is killing them and holding them back. And then there isn't any chance for them to come into a business and go, this is how it's going to be run. Because every one of you needs that swagger and that balls to do it. And you won't and you don't. And that's why your business is the way it is. The 5% who do, smashing it, living it, and they're free. They're free in their home life. They're free in their business life. There's problems, there's challenges, but they face them head on. They tackle them. Fuck it, let's go. Here's another one. Let's have a fight with this person. Let's deal with this shit. Because it's not in their identity to be perfect. Their identity is that they are learners, that they are problem solvers, that they're committed to growth. And they realise that growth comes with problems. So when a problem comes along, cool. Let's swing the bat. Let's go. And it doesn't do what most people do. It kills them when a problem comes along, because it all of a sudden exposes, oh, but that means I'm not perfect, Paul. There's a problem in my life and I'm not perfect. However will I deal with it? Not the problem, the fact that I've got a problem. That means I'm not perfect. So now all I'm doing is spending 90% of my time wondering why I'm not perfect. And oh, this is exactly what my dad said. My dad said I wasn't perfect. My mum said I wasn't perfect. She said I wasn't lovable. And this problem that's happened in my business has just confirmed that they were all right. Oh, however will I deal with it? And this is the stupid nonsense going on in adult brains today. And it does expose and it does tell you the story as to why there are so many shit businesses. And I mean it. There are 95%, the facts, I say it all the time, 96% of businesses are broke within 10 years, 50% are gone within, 80% are gone within 5 years, and I think it's fucking 50% gone within 2. It's like, it's insanely stacked against you to be successful in business. And partly because of the tenacity and the fight that you need to be a business owner, as well as the skills. You get the commercial skills and you keep that little bit of tenacity and that fuck you mentality in business, you will need suitcases to take the money home. But most people never even get to learn the business. Oh, I don't want to do a workshop just in case nobody shows up. Oh, I don't want to raise the prices just in case somebody says I'm greedy. Oh, I don't want to fire somebody just in case I end up on Glassdoor. Whatever will that mean for me and my family? Come on, play the other fucking one, right? Derek, I don't even know Derek, but I fucking guarantee his life is full of rules and full of obligations that he's unable to keep up with. And this dude could have 3 million in the bank and he still won't report feeling happy or free. Because everybody listening to this, you've all been told that when you get rich, you will be free. And you will be able to buy whatever you want when you're rich, by the way. And you can. But you're not free. And most people, even when they get the money, they don't spend the money because then just a new load of rules start. Oh, I'll have to hide it. I'll have to save it. We'll have to put it in a trust for the kids. We have to do this and we have to do the other. And, oh, we don't want to get a new kitchen just in case the sister-in-law doesn't approve because, she doesn't like the fact that we're rich. And we can't have a nice big new Mercedes because the neighbours won't like us now because they've got a shitty fucking car. And this is just a story in the soundtrack of people's lives. They're not independently free. And that's the reason that their business is not successful. And that's the reason that they report being unhappy despite being in business 10 or 11 years on. So there we go. How's about that?
It's good.
Thank you. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there. I'm going to leave it. I think that was a big topic. I'm not going to go on after that. I've got a flight to catch as well, in all honesty. I'm going to leave you all to think on that. Powerful, big, deep. Some people will probably not listen to the next episode. I accept that. But again, we're here to find the winners. We are here to find winners and we're here to grow winners. We're building character here. We're helping you think differently. We're helping you build a business that you can be proud of, that your family can be proud of. And it isn't going to be niceties. Most of you are at a level now where you don't need another person to kiss your ass. You need some facts, some truth, some brutal home truths as to why you're not moving on in your business. And that might just, this podcast, spark a little flame or a fire under your ass to go, do you know what? Actually, yeah, like a little bit of this here now is because of all of these fucking rules that I'm carrying with me forever and a day. And I guarantee you as well, is another thing I'll be certain of. When you start to shed these rules, you watch your relationship at home be better. The freedom that will come into your home. Most of the arguments are in home are around these types of things. Unconscious. The tension that builds is because there's so many rules you can't report feeling successful. If you've got 25 things, I'll leave you with this one. I could have 25 fights a day with my kids, right? 5 children. They fight all day. There's shit going on all the time. There's always somebody not doing as they're told. There's always somebody that you could have a fight with, right? I've got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old who fight with each other over milk and food. And then I've got a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old who fight with fucking swords and knives and baseball bats and all sorts of shit, right? Like, it goes out of control very, very quickly. Now, I've got to learn to accept that the fight over some milk between the 1-year-old and 3-year-old isn't that big of a deal. But the fight between the 9-year-old and the 12-year-old who are on the floor playing WWF and it's got out of control within fucking 10 seconds, as it does with boys, I've probably got to teach them that, like, this isn't cool, kids. So if I have a rule everywhere I look for every single fight, I'm never going to win them all. And so what's happening to most people is they've got 25 rules or 25 fights on a daily basis because of the rules they've created. They only actually win 12 or 10, and therefore there was 15 fights they lost or didn't get round to. So they go home and report feeling unsuccessful. And why wouldn't they? Because they haven't been able to win all their fights. So yours truly comes along and goes, let's just forget around those 20 things and let's just focus on these 5 and make sure we win them. So I win 5 of my fights and I go to bed on a night and I go, I was successful today. I was a successful dad today. I won the fights I needed to win. And I apply the same methodology in business. You are trying to do 25 things in the business today, and they're all shitty little things that you shouldn't be doing. And what you should be doing is picking the 3 that will make the difference to the quality of the business and go home on a night and go, I smashed the 3 things that I needed to do. I am now a successful business owner. And if you live like that on any given day, every day, you will be, and very quickly report feeling successful. And that's what this life is about. Not money, not all the other bullshit that goes on with it. Do you go home on a night more often than not feeling successful, feeling good about yourself? Because that's what every single one of you wants. And the simplest way to do it is eradicate the rules, find which 2 or 3 really matter and focus on them like your life at home and your business depends upon them. And you get to go home on a night going, I smashed those 3 rules. I did them. I nailed the 3 big things today in the house or in the business. I am a successful person today. I'll do it again tomorrow. And in the end, you build up such esteem and such confidence in yourself that you start to think of yourself as somebody who is a successful person, not as somebody who can't keep up, who never seems to get ahead of themselves. And the reason you're not getting ahead of yourself in business and life is because you set 25 rules, you set 25 fights that you needed to win. I set 3 and I won my 3. You're struggling to win your 25. You're demoralized. You're out of energy. You're tired. I've got loads of energy. I win my fights. I just make sure that the fight that I win is a big fucking one. If it's marketing or if it's sales or it's hiring, the other 22 things, somebody else's job, right? You go do it and I'll figure out in the end if they can do it. But you're getting involved in everything at home and in your business, and that's why you don't feel successful, because you are trying to win that many fights, you don't have any energy left for the fights. And each night, each day, you are reporting feeling an unsuccessful person, and you created all of it. As always, life is wonderful. When you reclaim control, you get rid of the rules, you start to set your own pace for what you want, you start to get a little bit of focus on the things that matter and the people that matter, and you eradicate everything else, this life is wonderful. Wonderful. Some stuff, health and things that'll kick you and blindside you and, you know, all of that, and I get that and I respect that. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about rules that people have created that have kept them stuck inside of their business, in prisons, in their homes. Relationships are suffering because of it. Kids don't feel free because of it. It's all so obvious when you wake up to it. It doesn't make any sense to me, as I keep saying, and it didn't make sense to me from 20 years ago, and it was a pivotal day in my life when I realised that most of what I'd been taught was a complete and utter crock of shit. And I still laugh. I still laugh to this day that people even think that these rules out there are actually worth following, given how many people are poor and very, very unhappy and in very unfulfilled relationships with very unsuccessful businesses. So there you go. Anyway, right, thank you. Last thing from me, save your dates. PPM Live is coming. It's Top Gun themed. It's November 13 through 15 this year in Orlando, in the Renaissance Hotel. This is year 5 for PPM. It gets bigger every year. We're capped at 250 this year. We've got an incredible guest coming on the stage as well. We're gonna bring the community together for another massive event. This one is not to be missed. Get in touch. Tickets will start to go on sale from the middle of August. They will get cheaper at the start and they'll get more expensive every week after. So don't delay. You will probably be paying double, triple by the time these tickets get towards October. So as soon as you see PPM Live, I will announce it on this podcast that it's available, which will be the middle of August. You need to be with us. We have the best business owners. We have the smartest business owners. We have the most successful business owners anywhere in the world at my events, and it's the reason that you need to be there. The content's fantastic, the show is amazing, but you need to be in this room to be around people who are having the level of success that you want. They're on the same journey as you, so come and join us at PPM Live, Top Gun themed, Top Gun PT, Highway to the Profit Zone is the next big Planet Paul community get together that's happening in November. See you then. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate you. Cheers, guys.